This case is based on a true story. The person involved said he would use his name and the situation he went through. I had the opportunity to preach on the radio for 2 years. In general, it was 5 of us. At the end of the program, we would open up the phone lines to get petitions for prayers. One weekend, we got one for a man called Doroteo. Our program was on the weekends. The petition was given and we prayed for Doroteo. Next weekend comes around and we get the same petition, but now they ask if we could pray for his foot so he can walk. The radio station manager asked us if we knew Doroteo. We asked why, and he said it was a young person calling in. Next weekend comes around and we hear a thank you response coming from the family members of Doroteo. They asked us if we could meet them. We agree, but due to a change of plans, members of our group couldn't go. The radio manager and another brother who preaches go to Mexico for a meeting with other radio coordinators. They say they met with Doroteo and his family and we should meet them. 2 members of the group end up going into Mexico and we eventually meet Doroteo. He was happy to see us. We end up going to eat at a restaurant called Popo's. He offers to pay for whatever we want and we graciously decline. We start to talk and we bring up how we ended up here. He tells us his niece would call the radio station. We were happy and agreed with amen. Doroteo said his niece would call because he had got run over by a semi. I said a semi-truck. I remember something wrong with your foot. He chuckled and said no, in reality he had a broken femur, a broken foot, some ribs cracked, internal bleeding and shards from the broken femur had got into his tendons and muscle fibers. The girl's parents go on to say they told her his foot had been broken, so his niece would not be aware of how injured he really was. We were in shock. He goes on to say the doctors told him he was lucky to be alive, that unfortunately he would never be able to walk. He had been sent home from the hospital since they could not attend to his medical needs. That time and medication would help him after his initial surgery. He goes on to say he was in a lot of pain and told his family to please ask anyone they know to keep him in prayers. He mentions one night he was thirsty and woke up. All of a sudden he felt an immense heat all over his body. He said he was scared. He might be having an allergic reaction to the medicine. Maybe they were too strong for his body. He thought that he was going to die. After a brief panic, he said it just went away. He tells us the next morning he was very hot Bequase. They had covered him with 2 blankets. So he kicked the blanket off him. He immediately started to yell for joy and everyone ran to his room to see if he was okay. He said he stood up and then got on his knees to give thanks to God. His family told him to lie down, that he doesn't feel anything because the medication. So eventually they went to get x-rays. The x-rays show his broken bones had fused, meaning they were no longer broken. a lump in my throat and started to cry. I had never heard that happen to someone, but I knew it was God. We stayed talking till the restaurant closed and a lot of people eating heard his testimony. We went to the radio station on Saturday again to preach more assertive than ever of our faith. John chapter 14 verse 14, If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it.